Just real estate talk now. In the United States, there's, the DOJ lawsuit going on about commissions, right? Decoupling the buyer's agent and the seller's agent commission, where the seller would pay the seller's agent, forcing the buyers to pay the buyer's agent. And it's been a conversation for a while now. They've altered the contract up in Washington State for it. But it's almost a nothing burger up there. They still do it traditionally with one box in the contract. Massimo is his market is completely decoupled. He said, which I love, by the way, 4% from the seller, 3% from the buyer. Part of the buyer's closing cost to get into the transaction is the realtor fee. Massimo's making 7% on those transactions, guys. I wanted to make sure you all heard that, first of all. Second of all, how does that affect the commission side? How does it work here in the States between everybody else? So whoever's watching this understands the difference. And how is that changing, if at all, in your business right now?
Okay, so the whole thing with the DOJ is it's going to be a couple of years, but like California, our guys are on it. I mean, we have 17 attorneys that work at the association, and they've been on this project for quite some time. So it's slowly making its way into our forms. We just did a transaction the other day where we had to we asked the buyer to pay the difference between what the seller was offering and what we felt we were worth. We couldn't find a form. We had to go use the buyer broker agreement. So this is all going to happen over some period of time, and especially for us here in California, because our prices are so much higher that there really is a lot of talk about how we're going to go about this. So our association is working diligently to make this happen. But so far, every time they've gone to court, the Realtor Association, NAR, has won over the DOJ. So we're looking at maybe a couple of years before we really have to address this problem. And if it's going to be a problem at all.
Yeah, good. And traditionally up in Modesto, I know, but what's the commission? Seller pays somewhere between 4 and 17%?
Yeah, it's right now it's hovering around 5, which we can't 5%. Talk about. Yeah, but and you split it 50-50. And it's always been that way, a 50-50 split.
Yep.
And I have a lot of problems with that, because if you're a buyer's agent, and especially in a market like this, and you have a first-time buyer, you're writing a half a dozen offers before you can get anything accepted. Why should that person have to take any less than the guy that has the listing? It's when the government gets involved in things and they don't understand what we do. Step back and figure out what it is that we do before you start telling us that we're making too much money for what we do. Because
say that again. Sorry, Jenny, please say that again, please, in regards to the buyer agent.
Well,
why he should take, because that's a good concept to bring on the table.
Yeah, Massimo, I can go back to 2008.
Yeah, you said
Carolyn
that
was talking about that. And in that market, we would write 13, 14 offers for a buyer before they get anything accepted. So a buyer's agent works equally as hard, in my mind, as a listing agent does. It's always best to be the listing agent, but Jamie's really good with buyers, and it's a lot of work. And one of the complaints I know at the DOJ is that the commission affects the selling price. Well, I've never known an appraiser to go into a property and ask what the commission is before he appraised the value of a house.
He always asks what the purchase price was, though.
Exactly. And so a lot of this is just kind of bogus stuff, but we're going to get through it.
Great point.